Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to the TNA Lockdown Review. I am your host, the Invincible E. Vincent. This show is brought to you by UnifiedWrestling.com and 123wrestling.co.uk. The TNA Lockdown pay-per-view event that took place tonight was had a few dry spots in it, but overall there were about three matches that pretty much made up for the rest of the show. Let's go ahead and get into it. The first match, this was the Team Eric versus Team Garrett match, where the loser, if it was Eric Bischoff, he had to leave TNA, never to be seen again, unable to use his name again. They stressed that point more than once, and if Garrett lost, well, the same applied to him. Now, this Team Garrett consisted of course, Garrett himself, Austin Aries, AJ Styles, Mr. Anderson, and RVD. Team Eric Bischoff's team were of course Eric Bischoff, as well as Gunner, Bully Ray, Kazarian, and Christopher Daniels. And this match went back and forth as each one of the competitors got fed into the lethal lockdown cage. After they were all in the cage and the top got put on with all the weapons involved, it culminated where Eric Bischoff was pretty much laying into Garrett with a kendo stick, beat his back over and over, and from the video you would have seen the welts that were all over Garrett as he was getting beat on. Garrett was able to respond with good old-fashioned El Kabong, unguarded headshot with a guitar in the face of Eric Bischoff. Put him down, and Garrett got the pin in the win. So Bischoff is supposedly banned from TNA, at least for now. So we'll see what happens. I personally think he's going to show back up, possibly trying to disguise himself with a mustache or something, but we'll see what happens. Now, following that, we had match number 2. This was the World Championship tag team match between Samoa Joe and the Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. Now, this was a pretty good match. Chris Sabin looked pretty, possibly a little bit of ring rust, still coming off of that injury to his knee. But overall, this was a pretty action-packed match. This was actually one of the ones that sort of made up for the rest of the show. Samoa Joe and Magnus won this one after Samoa Joe pinned Alex Shelley. But overall, this was a pretty action-packed match. Following that, we had the television championship match. This was between Devon and Robbie E. Now, Devon won this one after hitting Robbie E. With a slam. Now, after the match was when it really got interesting. Rob Terry, who had been locked out of the cage, once the cage was open, he stepped in and threw a slam on Devon, and then Robbie E followed up with some kicks and punches after that. So the saga between this rivalry here is going to continue. Now, following that, we had the Knockouts Championship match. Excuse me. This was between Gail Kim and Velvet Sky. And Velvet Sky is getting a push right now, and this, of course, is part of the push, the championship shot. But Gail Kim prevailed in this match. She pretty much carried this match. And so, yeah, Gail Kim won and is still the Knockouts champion. Again, the saga continues. I'm sure she's going to get a rubber match. But we'll see what happens after this. Now, following this, Ric Flair comes out and taunts the crowd, comes out, calls out Hulk Hogan. I got the sneaking suspicion that they had some things that needed to be ironed out, or somebody wasn't ready, or something needed to be done, because Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan came out and essentially burned about somewhere between 6 and 10 minutes. Ric Flair was complaining that he was mad at Hulk Hogan for banishing Eric Bischoff from TNA, and Hulk was pretty adamant that if Ric Flair wanted to do something about it, they could go ahead and have that conversation. Ric Flair went to take his jacket off, and Hulk Hogan punched him in the forehead and then left. And that was pretty much the end of that. But that was when it sort of started to get a little bit quiet. This is where the momentum of the show started to slow down. After that, we had the match between Matt Morgan versus Crimson. And the winner was Crimson. Matt Morgan, early in the match, had the opportunity, once Crimson was down, to go ahead and leave the ring and leave as the winner and break the streak, Crimson's streak that's been unbroken for about 15 months. Matt Morgan instead chose to try and dole out some more pain and wound up getting tied up in the ring ropes. And as he was tied up in the ring ropes, Crimson blew him a kiss, climbed up out of the ring, and emerged the champion. Or not the champion, rather, but as the victor in this match. And the streak is still unbroken, and Matt Morgan blew a perfect opportunity to win. So the saga continues. Following that, we had the match between Kurt Angle and Jeff Hardy. This match really stood out. And first of all, let me preface this by saying Kurt Angle was in this match with a severe knee injury. He's got a bad injury. The injury is basically keeping him out of the Olympics. But he nevertheless showed up. Should not be wrestling, really, on the injury that he's got. But came out, put in a heck of a show. Jeff Hardy went nuts in this match. There was a couple of swantons off the top rope. Another swanton off the top of the cage. And at the end, Kurt Angle did have to be assisted out of the cage area. But yeah, this was a pretty well done match. Jeff Hardy, I swear, I hope this guy just stays on the straight and narrow, because he's got too much talent to waste it. But the winner of this match was Jeff Hardy. And following that, they had the knockout tag team match. This was a tag team champion match between ODB and Eric Young versus Rosita and Sarita. The winner was ODB after hitting the Bam on Rosita. Now, after this match, we had the main event, which was Bobby Roode versus James Storm. And again, the third and probably the biggest standout match of the evening. This match started off before Bobby Roode actually got into the ring. He was taking a slow lap prior to getting into the ring around the ring on the outside. James Storm went and got him, thrashed him around a little bit on the outside. They went back and forth on the outside, running into barricades and basically making a mess outside. Got into the ring. The match got started, and it was pretty much knockdown, drag out. Ended with James Storm. He did wind up one super kick on Bobby Roode, and the second last call super kick that he got on him actually kicked Bobby Roode through a partially open steel cage door and out to the floor on the outside, which in fact made Bobby Roode the winner of the match. Never saw that ending in the match. Kudos to whoever came up with that, whichever writer came up with that ending. But it's a pretty good match. This was the last match of the night. The pay-per-view, although it did have again a couple of dry spots, there were some good matches in between there that pretty much made up for it. That's all we have for you tonight. Go ahead and check with us tomorrow. We're going to have the Monday Night Raw review, and check with us also on Thursday for the First Impact following the Lockdown pay-per-view. For myself, the Invincible E. Vincent, take care and enjoy the rest of your week.